So you've got a negative mark on your credit report. Look, it happens to the best of us. And what's the first thing we do? We jump online, right? Searching for that one secret, that one magic letter that's going to make it all just disappear. Well, today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get real about what actually works and what's just wishful thinking.
And this is the question that really hits home, isn't it? You make one little mistake, maybe you miss a payment during a really tough month, and bam, suddenly your big financial goals, buying a house, getting a new car, they all feel like they're a million miles away. So, is there an undo button? Can you actually erase that mistake? Let's get into it.
All right, first things first, let's be super clear about this. A negative mark on your credit, it's not just a number going down. It is a massive red flag to lenders. It's a real obstacle that can cast a really, really long shadow over your whole financial life.
And just how long is that shadow? Well, for most of the common stuff, we're talking late payments, accounts that went to collections, even foreclosures, you're looking at 7 years. 7! And something like a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, that can hang around for a full decade. I mean, that is a crazy long time for one slip-up to follow you.
But this is where a little bit of hope creeps in. It's this idea that maybe you don't have to just sit there and wait it out for 7 years. People have these proactive strategies they try to get those marks wiped off the board early. Now, I got to tell you, they are far from a sure thing, but they're a huge part of the credit repair conversation for a reason.
So let's get right to the good stuff. We're going to break down the two most talked about secret weapons in the world of credit repair: the Goodwill letter and the pay for delete letter. Okay, first up, the Goodwill letter. The best way to think about this one is like a polite plea for a second chance. You're writing to the original company, say your credit card company, and you're explaining, hey, I had a one-time slip-up, maybe a medical thing came up, or I lost my job, and you're asking them as a gesture of, well, goodwill, to please remove that late payment. It's really an appeal to your history as a good customer.
Now, the pay for delete letter, this is a totally different animal. This is not about forgiveness. This is a straight-up business negotiation. You send this to a collection agency, not the original company, and the deal you're offering is simple. I will pay you what I owe, but only if you agree to completely delete this collection account from my credit report. It is a true you do this for me, I'll do this for you situation.
And this is so important to understand. These two letters are absolutely not interchangeable. You can't just pick one and hope for the best. Using the right one in the right situation is everything. Using the wrong one, it's just a waste of your time and a stamp.
So let's break this down. A Goodwill letter, that's when you're asking for forgiveness. You send it to the original creditor, and it only really makes sense for an isolated late payment on an account that's otherwise in perfect shape. But a pay for delete, that's a business deal you make with a collection agency when an unpaid account has already been sold off. See the difference? One is an appeal to humanity. The other is pure, cold negotiation.
Okay, so you know which letter to use and when. Now for the million-dollar question, right? Do these things actually work? This is where we need to have a serious reality check about the success rates and the very real roadblocks you're going to face.
Let's start with the potential payoff because, wow, it can be huge. If you successfully get a serious negative item removed, like a brand new collection account, you could see your score jump anywhere from 10 to a whopping 150 points. I mean, that is a life-changing jump. That could be the difference between getting approved for a mortgage or getting denied flat out. But, and you knew there was a but coming, here's a big dose of reality. As credit expert Carolyn Warren puts it, these Goodwill requests, they just don't have the teeth they used to. The giant national banks are just too big. They're automated, they get thousands of these things, and the answer is almost always a hard no.
And here's the biggest reason why. It all comes down to a federal law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or the FCRA. This law basically says that creditors have to report accurate information. So when you send a Goodwill letter for a payment that actually was late, you're essentially asking them to break the rules and report something that isn't true. And that puts them in a really tough spot legally.
So, does that mean your chances are zero? Well, no, not quite. Your odds with a Goodwill letter go way up if it was a single slip-up, you had a legitimate hardship, and you have a long, otherwise perfect history with them. You'll also have a much better shot with a smaller local credit union than with one of those giant national banks that have ironclad no-exceptions policies. But if you have a whole bunch of missed payments, forget about it. And what about pay for delete? Well, that's a whole other minefield. This whole thing lives in a legal gray area.
It's not illegal, but the credit bureaus really frown on it because it can make a credit report look cleaner than it actually is. Plus, not all collectors will even entertain the idea. And here's the real kicker. Even if they do agree and remove the collection, the original late payment marks from the first creditor might still be there. And I cannot stress this enough. You absolutely must get the agreement in writing before you pay them a dime.
And look, even if you manage to pull it off, the impact on your score is going to vary a lot. As you can see here, getting a recent collection account removed is going to give you the biggest possible boost. An older collection, less of an impact. And an old late payment that's about to fall off your report anyway, you might barely see your score move. The age and the severity of the item, that's everything.
So if these letters are such a long shot, what are you supposed to do? Well, it's time we stop looking for the quick fix and start focusing on the reliable, proven path to actually building a great credit score for the long term. First, you've got to remember that time really is on your side. Yeah, these marks stick around for 7 to 10 years, but their power to hurt you fades a lot. A 5-year-old mistake has way less impact on your score than one from 5 months ago. So sometimes patience really is the most powerful tool you have.
You know the real secret to great credit? It isn't a secret at all. It's just about being consistent with these 4 pillars. Number 1, pay your bills on time every single time. This one is huge. It's 35% of your score. 2, keep your credit card balances low. 3, don't close your old accounts. That long credit history is golden. And 4, don't go crazy applying for new credit all at once. I know, it's worrying, but it's the one thing that is absolutely guaranteed to work.
So what's the big takeaway here? While chasing that long shot deletion with a letter can feel like you're doing something, the real power is in the small, consistent things you do every single month. Your credit score is your financial story. It's your reputation. So the question is, are you going to let an old mistake keep writing that story for you, or are you going to pick up the pen and start writing a new chapter yourself?